So I want to stick at this Cavs-Raptors series because I think it's so fascinating. Through the first couple games, again, I was like, oh, man, the Cavs might be the team to beat on the first half of the bracket, and they win their 2 games at home. At the end of game number 2, I said it in my recap video that, like, the Toronto Raptors kind of, not saying they figured some things out, but I think they walked out of that game number 2, even though they lost it, saying, we still got a chance in this one. And they take the 2 games at home. And they're great games for the Toronto Raptors. I want to specifically talk about game number 4 because I did do a recap on game number 3, where game number 4 was the ugliest game of the postseason. 93-89 is disgusting work. And that's with the influx of scoring when it came to that fourth quarter. Because for a lot of this, there's a 17-point quarter here for the Cavs, a 14-point quarter for the Toronto Raptors, another 19-point quarter for the Cavs, a 22. It was a nasty game. And then once we got to the fourth quarter, boom, here's a 30 and 33 for the teams. And I saw somebody ask, like, can somebody please do the research on how much worse teams are in that matinee game, that afternoon game versus a night game, because I do feel like that first game of the day on these weekends in the postseason, they've all been like rock fights. And it is kind of cool to see obviously there's a lot of missed shots in this, but I do believe there's also a lot of great defense. When I talked about earlier in the episode about me enjoying game 4s and game 5s and so on, and the adjustments, I was really kind of thinking about Darko Rajakovic more than anything. Kenny Atkinson also made an adjustment in this game where, he had Dean Wade scoot over and not guard Brandon Ingram, but to guard Scotty Barnes. So you see that adjustment there. And game number 3, they make the adjustment where Scotty Barnes is going to be guarding James Harden or Donovan Mitchell, whoever's on the court. And if they're both on the court, then it will be James Harden. And that's just some super cool stuff to see. You're seeing some more unique lineups with the Toronto Raptors, seeing like some pseudo zones in there for the Toronto Raptors. And I really do admire that from Darko Rajakovic. He even said in his post-game interview something along the lines of like, I really enjoy the playoffs because during the regular season, you can't really prep. We got a game on Friday and on Saturday against 2 different teams. How can I get my team locked into this game and the great schemes that we can draw up and also get them ready for the next week? You just really can't. You have to use in a lot of cases, a lot of blanket stuff and then hope that things fall the way you want. But in the postseason, when you have a day or 2-day rest, when you're going against the same team time and time again, we can do some interesting things. And the Raptors, again, it's a dog fight of a game and a rock fight of a game, but the Raptors coming out and winning those 2 games are really important. They always say the age-old saying, a series does not start until the home team loses. And so far, the home team has won every single one of these games. So I guess the Cavs are still in the driver's seat just based on the fact that they have home court advantage. They played a series like this a couple years ago against the Orlando Magic, right? Where the home team won every single game, and then they went to 7, and then the home team won game 7. So who knows? But the Cavs, again, me thinking about them through the first 2 games, this team can be in the conference finals, to me saying, don't really love that. The biggest question mark I had, if you remember that episode we were previewing some of these series, was like, can the Toronto Raptors be more physical than the Cleveland Cavaliers, and how much could that impact the game? And I believe that over these last couple, it has impacted the game a ton. This is another time through the last 2 games where Evan Mobley and Jared Allen looked behind. Those 2 guys are all-stars and former all-stars. One of those guys was an all-NBA player just last season. I'm sure he's going to get some votes for this year as well. And they have these tendencies of being super slow at processing the game on the offensive side of the ball. They're like when Darko and company, when they decide to deny ball on the all-star guard when it's only one of them on the court and allowing their team to go 4-on-4, it's really tough for the Cleveland Cavaliers because their 2 other all-star caliber guys just don't process the offensive side of the game as quickly as you want them to do it. I mean, you come in and get you some Dennis Schroeder upside, which happened in this game as well. But for the most part, you see Scotty Barnes denying ball on Donovan Mitchell in the first quarter once James Harden goes to the bench. It's like, oh yeah, now they're playing 4-on-4, and we trust our forward defensively more than we trust the forward that they have on the offensive side of the ball. And not just that, there's time they're sending 2 at the ball. So so we're denying so that Donovan Mitchell does not get the ball in this half-court set. But when he does have the ball, we're sending 2. And we're making the Cavs play 4-on-3. And the amount of 4-on-3 opportunities I saw the Cleveland Cavaliers lose was ridiculous to me. That's good defense, but it's also lack of execution on the offensive side of the ball. Hey, man, James Harden had a ton of turnovers again today. And there's not one that hurts more than the one with like 3.5 minutes to go. He just lazily throws the ball up on the left side wing, and it turns into a turnover. And not just that, he tries to intentionally foul lackadaisically and doesn't do that, and it ends in an easy basket for the Toronto Raptors. I'm going to remind you, this game, final score was 93-89. That play mattered a ton. Shout out Jamal Shead. The 8-second backcourt violation mattered a ton. One of the greatest plays you'll see that, wasn't an actual basket in the NBA. So those two guys, man. I mean, it's more than them, right? I'm not blaming Jared Allen and Evan Mobley for this game or this performance, but like the first couple games, Evan Mobley looked great. I'm like, oh my God, there's a 25 piece. The ball was finding him. He was putting his head down, getting to the basket. I thought through the first two games, the always rivalry of Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley. I thought through the first two games, Evan Mobley was winning. And since then, Scotty Barnes has straight up looked like the best player in the series, man. He just straight up has. First couple games was Donovan Mitchell. By far, he was putting up 33s and 32s. But Scotty Barnes, man, even in the games like today's game, he didn't get 28 or 30 like he could in maybe some of these other games. But his impact on defense, not just steals and blocks and so on, but, man, I'm telling you, eliminating one of those guys at all time is going to be a heartbreaking outcome for the Cavs, more likely than not. CMB is kind of ridiculous. I saw him as a really good prospect, right? Defensively, the question was always the offensive side of the ball. But we're getting this influx. He's a more of a 4-5 in the big, so it's maybe a little bit different than like a Thompson twin or Dyson Daniel, some of these guys that are perimeter players that can't shoot. But him finding a way to still be effective offensively is just like good coaching, and also just him being a good player. Also in his post-game interview, Darko Rajakovic said that CMB is one of the most talented players he's ever had the pleasure to coach, because just last week or a couple weeks ago, he started to practice floaters, and now he's doing floaters in NBA playoff games and hitting them down the stretch. He has a knack for just straight up finding where the ball is going to miss and getting extra opportunities for the team. And he's all of 6 foot. Let me see what they actually got him. CMB NBA. Can I just type? Oh, yeah, it comes up. Shout out to him. He already got the initials locked down. He's listed at 6'7". So he's a 6'7" big going against Evan Mobley, who I would assume is listed at 6'10", and Jared Allen, or Evan Mobley 6'11", and Jared Allen, who continues to shrink every year of his career. I think he's listed at 6'8". 6'9". So he's going amongst trees and putting his shoulder down and doing left-handed hooks and all of these cool things offensively to make himself valuable. But on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know if the numbers back me up. So maybe take this with a grain of salt. When him and Scotty B are on the court together, I just feel like they're shutting faucets off left and right. It's going to be hard to score, especially since they changed the matchup. So it's still anybody's series. Like I said, the home team has won every single game. And as much as I'm singing praise for the Raptors right now, we could come back in a week from now and be singing praises for the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's just the way the NBA is. I'm going to look in the regular season wise when those two guys play together. They had a 108 defensive rate in those 600 minutes they played together. So in the postseason so far, they have a 128 defensive rating. But again, that's counting for the first two games where they hadn't figured it out. If I could just go last two games, I would, but I can't do that right now. So shout out to the Toronto Raptors. Did not expect them to be in this spot in this series. We'll see what they do in their next game.
Hit subscribe for more news, highlights, and analysis from the NBA on NBC.